Hi, this is Kim Handy. And first of all, I want to say we're getting really close to the end of the semester. So I want to make sure we're really clear on what we need to do this week and even talking about what's going on next week. So here we go. It's week 13, and I'm posting a video today. I'm first going to talk about this assignment. So, this is an individual project, and what I've asked you to do is read through this list and pick a topic that interests you. So, if I were to go through these briefly, I would first tell you that protectionism is about the reason I picked this is because it's been part of the discussion with our current federal administration. Protectionism has to do with levying taxes and fees on imports into this country. So, what you would do is you would talk about what is protectionism and then what are the implications of protectionism to us as investors and even to us as consumers. The next topic you could pick is NAFTA, the North America Free Trade Agreement. And what I'm specifically getting at here is our relationship with Mexico. Again, you would talk about NAFTA and its implications for investors and the economy as it relates to this class. So, again, another hot topic right now that I want to learn more about, and I know other students do as well. Millennials in finance, so I'm really focusing on your generation for most of you. What is the relationship between millennials and finance? How is it different from perhaps an older generation or my generation? And what are the implications for investing for your group? Not sure why that happened. Okay, behavioral finance, which is a topic near and dear to my heart. You'll find a lot of good information. This has to do with the psychology of investing or not investing. You know, how fear drives us to do nothing in our investment accounts, and how other types of behavioral traits cause us to invest in very high risky assets or cause us to hold on to a losing asset. So again, that's a really important topic for exploration. The next is thematic investing, and this would be to invest on current themes or trends that are developing and have the potential to really grow in the future. So let me give you an example of a trend that I invested in. A few years ago, all I heard was cloud computing, cloud computing, cloud computing. So I felt that that was the future wave, and what I did was I looked for an ETF to support cloud computing, and made an investment in it as this sort of trend that was developing, and I really thought it had the opportunity to be greatly successful, and I still feel that way about that topic. But there are other themes that are occurring right now. So again, what is thematic investing and how does it affect us? Emerging markets. So emerging markets are those economies that are up and coming. So we in the U.S. live in a developed market. We're not a third world country that's suddenly becoming industrialized and producing a lot of products. But there are other countries, most notably India and even China, that are still considering emerging markets. And we look to these to see how they're doing. I mean, a lot of these have a higher GDP than our country and present investment opportunities for us. So what are emerging markets by definition, and then what are the emerging markets we might be looking at now? Okay, crowdfunding. Now I want to narrow this, and I want to say specifically crowdfunding for loans. So let's just stick to loans. We're not doing crowdfunding for charity, but we're looking at how you can use crowdfunding techniques to provide loans to other individuals. So let me give you an example. So I could go through a crowdfunding website and I could make a personal loan to an individual who is looking for money, and in return for that loan I would receive an interest payment. But it's not through a bank or it's not through an investment company. It's more of a person to person or investor to person who needs a loan type relationship. All right, moving on. Real estate investment trusts. These are called REITs, and this really gets at how we can invest in real estate or be part of that real estate market without ever owning any real property. Again, a way to diversify, a way to get into real estate through investments, through something an investment called a REIT, and they have ETF REITs and also mutual fund REITs. Microfinance, another topic, how to again finance smaller or different types of business. So it's a different finance alternative that I want to learn about. I know very little about microfinance. And then lastly, we have the yield curve in investing. And what this is the yield curve is all about bonds. It has to do with long-term bond rates versus short-term bond rates. And really, I want you to research how the yield curve can or cannot be used as a predictor for an upcoming recession. So there's a lot of information about the yield curve and the signaling of a recession. So those are the 10 topics. And again, we can have overlap here. I want you just by Thursday, I'd like you to select your topic and so I can put your name next to it. And then what you're going to do is make sure let me go ahead and save this right here. And I'm going to go to the specific assignment. So here's the assignment that has the grading rubric. Here we go. So again, you select a topic, research it thoroughly, so you're an expert. I want you to develop a presentation for the class, similar to a presentation that I'm making for you now that explains the topics and discusses its relevance. Make sure you cover all aspects of the grading rubric. So I'm going to go with exemplary because that's what I'm expecting you to do. So you're going to have a clear opening statement that really catches our interest about this topic. And you can summarize the main points about what you learned. Then you're going to have content that shows us that you really understand this topic and its relationship to our class. And then you're going to wrap it up with a conclusion. And then we're also going to talk about your voice. We have to be able to hear you. You need to be articulate. Hopefully you're enthused because you were able to self-select the topic that you want. And then your media, how you use your presentation. I don't want you to read to us. Please don't read from your slides. Make your slides as minimal as possible and talk to us or take us to other places on the web, but however you want to use media to enhance your presentation. So again, I'm looking for exemplary over here projects because this is a big deal. This is a big project. So if you have any questions about that, you can shoot me an email and we can talk more about it. All right, so I am going to now go to pick the topic, follow the rubric. If I were you, or here is one option, you can go ahead and use this free Screencast-O-Matic software. It is free, so you can open up your presentation and you set the parameters here on the outside, play with it for a little bit, and record your presentation to us. Now your presentation is probably 5 to 10 minutes. I think 5 to 10 minutes is enough. It's not a dissertation. It might be 15 minutes. I don't know. But I want you to do a thorough job. And you don't have to use screencasts. Again, we don't need to see your face. We just need to hear your voice. Very similar to what I do for you. And I use screencast. I don't use the free. I use the pro. But you do not need to buy anything to record this. So go ahead and practice, give it a whirl, and learn something new. This is also part of your learning experience. So again, it's screencast. You can see it right here, and you can see that it's for free. Okay, so that's the assignment. And by the way, this assignment is not due until next Thursday. So you're going to have some significant time to get this done over the weekend. I will make it due next Thursday. Homework you do have this week though is quiz 4. So I want to pop into quiz 4 right now and talk to you about it. So quiz 4 is on mutual funds and ETFs. This is a take-home quiz. It's due on Sunday. What I want you to do is answer these questions. 2 of your financial goals today. So maybe one of your financial goals is to plan for retirement. Maybe it's to move out. Maybe it's to buy a car. Maybe it's to get married. Maybe it's to save for college. So I want you to pick two of your goals. And then I just want you to go through and answer these questions as honestly as you possibly can. Now, I want you to develop two investment plans, one with ETFs at TD Ameritrade, the free ETFs, and the other one with mutual funds at Vanguard, based on your financial goals and your answers to these questions, kind of trying to flesh out what your risk profile. Are you risk averse? Are you a risk taker? I want to try to understand who you are and make sure that you can take who you are and pick the right type of investments. So let me give you an example. If you tell me that one of your financial goals is to buy a car in 2 years, you have to buy a car in 2 years, and you need $5,000 to buy a car. So what I would say as a planner is that, boy, if you need a car in 2 years, you don't want to put your money in something high risk. You don't want to expose money to the stock market because there's no guarantee that the stock market is going to earn you money in 2 years. You could lose money, in which case you would not be able to buy your car. So for short-term financial goals, you want to move down that pyramid and put your money in bonds, or I mean, as risky as you might get would be a balanced fund, but I would really try to stick to the bond category, maybe even moving into maybe CDs or cash. Okay, so remember, short-term goals are not a place for risky investments. So try to keep that in mind. You want to put them in more conservative investments. Now, on the flip side, if you're talking about a retirement goal, then you could, and you're 20, then you have lots of time on your hands, and you can go ahead and think about target retirement funds, or you can think about large cap mutual funds, or even other types of investments. So pay attention to your goals. You need two investment plans, one with ETFs at TD Ameritrade. Remember, it has to be the list of free ETFs, and the other is mutual funds from Vanguard. Just in case you don't remember this, I'm going to pop over in here, and I'm going to go to TD Ameritrade, to their website, and under investment products here, I'm going to pick ETFs. Okay, and from ETFs, I can see that there are 100 commission-free ETFs, and there's a link right here to access these ETFs on TD Ameritrade, and here they are. Again, category, equity, these are stock funds, 31 bond funds, international funds, and then commodities. We never studied commodities, don't belong there. So we're mostly sticking to the equity, stock, and bond funds. When you come here, again, these are all commission free. Here they have some asset allocation funds that you might choose from, and then they have a variety. If you click on this, you can sort by category and put all, for example, all the large cap together, all the allocation funds together, etc. Similar with bond. You can go over here, click by category. So world bonds would include international. Here's short-term bonds. Again, short-term bonds are a great place for short-term goals because they, hey, look, here's a 5-star short-term bond as an option for maybe a goal that you have that's within a year or 2 years. So short-term, the least amount of risk. Munis, not for us. Again, munis are typically for people with very high net worth. Long-term, again, very sensitive to interest rates. Intermediate term is generally your go-to place for bonds. Okay? And then Vanguard, I think you know how to get to Vanguard because I've gone through this on how to evaluate bonds. But I'll pop through here as you're going to be looking at investing. Whoops, Vanguard mutual funds, because again at Vanguard we're doing mutual funds. And I like to click here on this link, browse Vanguard funds by asset class. Remember, these are in risk order. When you look at it this way, they're in risk order. So these are all the lower risk funds and moving down to the higher risk funds. I'm not going to scroll because that drives me crazy. So anyway, I want you to here, quiz 4, develop 2 investment plans. So type these up at both companies. And then make sure you do this. Make sure you explain how these fund selections are appropriate for your financial goals. I really need to see this. I want to see an understanding and a comprehension of your risk, and then take that information and tell me how you select funds. So again, that quiz is due on Sunday. So I'm going to go back to our website here. Quiz is right there. There's the link. It's due on Sunday. Again, the information and the presentation is due next Thursday. Now, next week, I'm going to be putting out the times for in-person interviews, which means you need to come to campus. You'll have lots of time slots available. You need to come to campus and meet with me, and we're going to talk about your personal financial plan. So I'll be putting out a list of all things financial that you should have available to you at that meeting. If you have it, some things on the list you won't have, and that'll be fine. But I want you to look forward to that. I'll post it next week, and we'll set up a time to meet. So there'll be all kinds of times, morning, during the day, and also at night. So have a great week. I hope you had a great break, but now it's time to get back into this, and let's roll with it. Thanks a lot. Bye.